This is going to be a pretty big year for Star Citizen. 2021 really set the stage. It was the beginning of Phase 4. We got features like dynamic events and a real reputation system and consequences for our actions. But 2022 is in a good spot to expand on all that and add things like static server meshing and the cargo refactor. But I think there's a pretty major segment of the game that is going to be the real test of success this year. I would also go so far as to call it maybe the key to success for Star Citizen. I'd like to thank you guys for coming to the first of my supporter exclusive videos. You guys are making all this possible, so I wanted to give you the best. Thank you for supporting my Tomato Talk. MMOs naturally are meant to be played with others. Star Citizen has always allowed for this, but in recent years, there's been a clear push for players to depend on each other for progress. Not entirely, as the game is still meant to be played solo amongst others, but certainly the game has angled itself a bit more towards groups lately. Everything from crime stat removal to staying alive in a firefight can now depend heavily on the presence of another player. And this isn't a trend that's likely to slow down anytime soon. Looking at the progress tracker and the roadmap, you'll see features that begin to expand on this, things like refining, ship-to-ship refueling, and resource management. These are all things that you're going to need to take part in to stay alive and to continue making profits. And as excited as we are for these additions, along with new planets, new systems, new ships, and even long sought after professions like salvage, they only make up half the equation. Sometimes you'll get a feature or a location or something, and it'll just feel too early. Take our little trolley carts from earlier last year. They weren't very useful, even though the tech was very important. Tractor beams were useful on their own when first implemented, but they weren't an incredibly valuable tool until they started having their uses. Transporting loot out of bunkers after the looting feature was added comes to mind, and so does Xenothreat. Xenothreat itself was the introduction of events into Star Citizen, large-scale missions that allow for anybody in a server to help progress towards a goal. While some of this was combat-focused, a large part of it was about salvaging materials and returning them to base. In fact, that was the main objective. And for many, this, the Ninetales Lockdown and Jumptown 2.0, which were the 3 events of 2021, were the best gaming experiences they've ever had. There was a lot of fun and frustration to be had, and it became very clear that while players were enjoying the sandbox, they're ready for some more narrative. Now, it's not like CIG hasn't been trying to build more meaning and narrative into their game. Way back when we first started settling our ugly little feet down on the moons, CIG was all about the mission givers. These are unique individuals with extra polish, a lot of backstory, and some cool mission chains. While there are quite a few in game and currently they work to some extent, they're pretty broken. This is, like most things, a sign of network health. And while CIG is still building on the mission giver system and developing dynamic events for us, they're going to need to double down on the fundamentals. I'm talking about missions. I know it sounds a bit simple, but hear me out. I believe the mission system is the key to a successful 2022. Not because we need more things to do, but we need more reasons to do them. And while rewarding players for their actions within game items solves the problem short term, creating new engaging content is sure to pay dividends down the line. Taking advantage of missions can allow CIG to start focusing on the new player experience, reinvigorating gameplay that needs testing, and diversifying play for old players. And it takes advantage of a huge pile of features CIG has been delivering on for years. Let me show you. While all the features, systems, locations, and updates to the game live on their own, it is the missions the game provides that bring all of the gameplay together in an enjoyable way. Given these features are dished out piecemeal, it's hard to see the way the whole picture melds together. Take, for example, the radar and scanning upgrades from last year, which are, despite my prediction, nothing to write home about. But they are certainly a useful upgrade to the game. Take that feature and combine it with loot, and then add the cargo refactor and salvage gameplay, and you suddenly have incredibly deep scenarios with multiple options as to how you can approach them to complete your mission. This could be a chance to get some extra goods since you were smart enough to scan for additional loot while you were out salvaging for components. Spawn closets themselves? Almost unnoteworthy. But we've already seen that in the most simple combat scenario, with the combination of loot, the game begins to work wonders for players playing alone and together. These events have given players a reason to congregate and run activities alongside each other in the most basic scenarios, and it has proven itself to wake up the community quite a bit, even in the face of the ever-present drama. And as of this writing, this is all before players can even sell the loot they've been finding. This also doesn't really get into the new player experience. While new players are not ingrained in this web, they need to be able to experience these things in order to become more deeply invested in the game. Some of the first things a new player should be seeing after waking up on a planet should be a mission to go gather some supplies. Learn how the shops and buy-sell features work, check out new armors and fiddle with your inventory. Give new players a delivery to make to the orbital station so that they can discover how to reach their ship and make cargo deliveries. Have them drive a delivery box out to an outpost so that they can learn about the new planets, the NPCs who roam them, and the outpost system. And then there's the reputation system. Brand new as of the last year or so, this system acts as the best monitor for player progression, allowing for in-game benefits based on your in-game performance. It also allows for players to accept new missions and activities based on what they've done regarding the concerned party, the local security forces, a random drug dealer, or anybody else who cares. It's an incredibly ambitious system even at its most basic level, but it may be the biggest foundational block in the whole mission system pyramid. None of this is new, unique, or groundbreaking though. In fact, most of you guys are probably like, yeah, Kenan, okay. All I'm saying is, CIG has begun this process, yes, but if there was ever a time for them to focus on this and make sure this is a substantial part of their yearly focus, this is the year. When you look at all of these features, improvements, and systems that have been implemented into the game over the last several patches, it starts to become clear there needs to be something that brings it all together. And while I do think and hope this is a possibility in 2022, I'm not sure it's a guarantee. But since we're already here, how about we take a look at some of the features coming this year that could help missions expand a little bit. The upcoming navigation mesh is something I really wish we knew more about. The current developmental status of the feature is pretty much unknown to the public. It has been mentioned here and there, and we've seen it in action with NPCs moving around on planet surfaces at CitizenCon, but the only other sign of its completion is the fact that tracked work on the website finished in September of 2021. I'm sure you can imagine how this might improve the mission outlook on planets when AI can basically do everything that they do indoors, outdoors. Any mention of this feature this year should definitely be drawing your attention. Reputation has already changed the way we experience the mission system, with new missions opening up to us based on our relationships. With passenger transport missions, Pyro coming with new factions, and the possible improved performance of mission givers in the lineup, this could be another positive push in the overall mission system. Quantum is the underlying economy and population engine that runs the game. Through the use of Quanta, it simulates all of the NPCs that outnumber players 9 to 1, and sets them on course for a job or task of some sort. This is a system that will create the derelict ship you need to explore, or the pirate base you have to clear, or the cargo hauler in need of your help. Quantum generates the opportunities for these missions, and while it made some steps in 2021, it did not reach the intended goal of release. Hopefully 2022 proves to be better, and introduces more dynamic missions and encounters to the game. The Pyro system is the headline addition of the year. It may not be the most important, but oof, it is the most flashy. As one could imagine, an entire new system holds many opportunities for new mission content. In fact, the mission setup for the new system is scheduled to finish current tasks fairly soon as of the release of this video. But we know that really doesn't mean much, right? Now the Moby-Glass is a weird one to bring up here, I know, but bear with me. The fact that we've seen a new asset manager, a new star map is on the way, the new reputation app was added recently, and other apps are on the roadmap, I'm not giving up hope. I think the Moby-Glass could add something that helps with the mission experience this year. Could be anything from better objective tracking to improved mission beacons. But I think that the Moby-Glass could lend a helping hand this year. And then there are the new professions. Salvage, refueling, refining, hacking, personnel transport, there are a number of professions scheduled to be added this year. CIG can only go so long adding new gameplay loops without supporting gameplay. I believe this year we may see more diverse missions specifically because of this stacking up of gameplay we've been seeing. There are plenty of signs of these features being developed in the background, but what will really be telling is how they are applied to the mission system in 2022. And that brings us to the elephant in the room. Why haven't we seen any mining missions? Is it simply due to the state of the game and the servers not being able to host much more content, or is it something more? I personally couldn't tell you, but I do think there are multiple factors that have led to mining missions not being able to be developed. All we can hope for is that those roadblocks have been surpassed and new mission types can be implemented. And to tell you the truth, I don't know. I am optimistic, especially with the amount of game changers that we have scheduled for this year, but last year taught me that even a very positive year can have quite a few unforeseen bummers. The major systems that I and the folks at CIG were expecting to see towards the end of 2021 did not produce. At the time of writing in January 2022, we have no real insight on the rest of the year as the scheduling period has not ended. And focus is mainly on Squadron 42 and the assets that can be used for it. That may include parts of the mission system, but will it be enough? I'm hopeful CIG can meet the need for more driven content to break up the sandbox for new players, and diversify the experience by bringing in new mission types as well. With Reputation now a major part of the game and many different playstyles becoming popular, I think it's time. I hope you enjoyed this first Space Tomato Plus video. I don't actually know if that's what I'm going to call it. I made this as an addition to my Key Developments of 2022 video, which you can find right up there. But you guys made both of these videos possible. Thank you for that. This is just the first of 24 of these videos this year, and I'm excited for the possibilities of a video series like this. I hope everybody here will be responsible with this exclusive content and not share it outside of this community before or even after you might have left. Thank you for that kind of respect. I hope you've enjoyed this exclusive video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.